and as fate would have it, we had a little bit of a snafu with our recording, and so you'll find that the recording, the first story we had, was about really the news flow out of the White House. And so, with that, we're going to go ahead and talk about information flow this episode of the Economic Report, in part because, let's face it, folks, it appears as though your dear host fumbled the ball, so I'm going to apologize to you ahead of time. That is life, but it's imperfect for sure. And so, if I can go ahead and share my dry erase marker with you and my board here, we can get a little bit of a deeper understanding of what is happening here in DC politics. And so, if I could do a WH here, yes. WH here, and please forgive me because I am writing upside down, but I think you should be able to see that. White House, and of course, with the White House, you have you know who inside, and of course, maybe we can go ahead and put a smiley face here for no other reason than I think this guy really enjoys being the president of the United States, and it's a tough job. And when you find somebody who really enjoys being the president, well, you kind of just sit back and just watch, right? Like Ronald Reagan, for instance, president of the United States, loved being the president. Oh, he kind of understood his role as he saw himself as a cheerleader, a leader, a person who gives commentary, a person who gives insight, maybe a little bit of wisdom, like elder wisdom, if you will. That was what I remembered about Ronald Reagan, and you don't see that too often. Whether you're a Bill Clinton fan or not, what he was the likable character or the likable fellow. And of course, he had a lot of people pointing fingers at him, ridicule. I mean, I get it. But there was also a lot of like genius that came out of Clinton because he had a real high like EQ, emotional quotient instead of IQ. Chris, great to hear from you, pal. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me here. We're talking about the White House and the information flow. I screwed up, and my economic report this morning, I flip flopped these episodes. Service, glad to have you here. Thank you, Juan, for joining. And so we flip flop episodes here, and so we're talking about the things here in the information flow from the White House right now. And so with this, you'll see that I've got the White House here, and of course, and a hi to you, Chris. So we've got the White House here. We've got the occupant of the White House. Wow, 14 of you joining already. That's perfect. And so we're trying to talk about the information flow from the White House today, and maybe, just maybe, you kind of understand that I kind of see Trump is really like a ringmaster almost. And if you can think about it that way, it should make pretty. Yeah, you love the White House. Thanks, Chris. It's a pretty amazing place. I've never have you been inside before? I've gotten close to it. I go and check the place out actually on a regular basis, but never got in. Um, and of course, with that, the White House has a lot, and I do mean a ton, of news stories constantly flowing out of it. And so, with that, I will throw this out here to you because there's always a story flowing out of the White House, right? And with that, I want to remind you that there's stories one, there's story two, and if I do this correctly, story three, that the president really does control the messaging coming out of the White House. And it seems as though you're constantly stepping from one story to another, rotating back to these stories, whether it's about the economy, whether it's about world politics, whether it's about jobs here in the United States. Maybe there's a fourth story, but what seems to be happening on a pretty regular basis is rotating back through this cycle over and over again. And I think it's absolutely genius. Uh, Underneath the White House, just in case there was a bomb. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. Chris, you really bring up a phenomenal point. Um, and if we hearken back to maybe the September 11th attacks, and that was, we're talking like well over 20 years ago. Uh, the Vice President Cheney was taken by Secret Service right down into the tunnels underneath the White House. So you're 100% right. There are a ton, and I do mean a ton, of tunnels underneath Washington, D.C., and that does include bunkers and everything else under the White House. So really a good observation. And did you know also inside of the Capitol building, there's tunnels underneath there that have been used at various times in history. So, if we understand this news cycle once again, we see the President of the United States in the White House, and of course, there's story one, story two, story three, and he seems to rotate through those cycles. Uh, can you show us what the White House looks like from the outside, maybe? And of course, you don't want me drawing the White House. That much I can promise you, Chris. You're kind of funny, though. But if you are liked and you are subscribed, I will do a shout out for you because people like you make this fun. News stories here, and of course, what happens is whether you're covering economics, whether you're covering political stories, right, like Ukraine and Russia, whether you're covering jobs and manufacturing. The fact is that there's always a story, and it's always coming out of the White House, and it's not the news people bombing the president with information and questions. Instead, what I see there is, Chris, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Please shout out, and I'm all right. Hey, Chris, thank you very much. You are awesome. So thank you for subscribing, and that goes to anybody else who subscribes as well. That does wonders for the channel, does wonders for the YouTube algorithm, and of course, I'm not too much into vanity metrics, but YouTube likes these things, and if I had 5 subscribers, I would still do this channel. So the fact that you guys are giving me a thumbs up really does matter. It matters quite a bit. What I'm saying here is the president really seems to control the news coming out of the White House, and seems to be very much like dare I say, controls the messaging and seems to be surfing the wave as opposed to be the guy who is reactionary to the to newspaper reporters or television reporters constantly bombing them with questions. So I think it's really important to control the narrative, and whether it's a teacher in school, whether it's the preacher in the pulpit, whether it's parenting with kids at home, controlling a message does matter, and it matters very much. So these are the little things that really do seem to matter, and matter a ton, and I think it's kind of what Trump does. What I've seen him do on really effectively is the fact that he's almost like the ringmaster at the circus, right? And I used this analogy yesterday at on my other long form video yesterday about controlling the message. If Trump really is like a ringmaster, then he's constantly controlling the messaging. He's running the show and constantly is trotting in a new act all the time to make sure that the audience is getting the information they need, and maybe more importantly, getting the information that they're feeding them, right? So this is what he wants them to hear. This is what he wants them to know. And I think it's absolutely genius. He's surrounded himself with some super smart people that understand politics really well. They understand media really well. And with that, I'm just sharing that this is the stuff that really can run a presidency, and can lead to a super successful presidency. And of course, the media always has to do their job too, which is to raise question marks, raise the unpopular questions. So, Chris, I don't know. I'm just under 300 subscribers right now, but it's a good question for you as well. And of course, YouTube subscribers are a little bit more difficult. Than I guess I could go to a different format, but that was never really the option. I found a platform that I'm really comfortable with, and YouTube is it. And I've dealt with YouTube to some extent. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brian I've been at the Economic Report once again. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. And thank you for your thoughtful questions today. You are amazing. We're going to go ahead and we'll catch you Monday, same time, same place at 10 o'clock. And I will go ahead and not shoot one live. I'll shoot two different topics, same day. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to be awesome. The biggest battle you fight is the one between your ears over your thoughts, your action, and your attitude. And folks, get out there and smile and say hi to somebody. It doesn't cost you a cent, and you make the world a better place. Have a great day.